One engine on this list has destroyed so many BMWs that owners have filed class action lawsuits against the company. The timing chain fails as early as 40,000 miles, and when it goes, it takes the entire engine with it. Millions of these cars are still on the road. Yours might be one of them. I'm Mike, 20+ years as a BMW mechanic. I've seen engines run past 300,000 miles on oil changes in a few sensors. And I've seen engines come in on a flatbed at 60,000 miles with damage that costs more to fix than the car is worth. The difference comes down to which engine is under the hood. Today, I'm breaking down the 3 worst and 4 best BMW engines you can buy. By the end, you'll know exactly which ones to trust and which ones to avoid at all costs. Let's get into it. Worst engine, number 3, N63, twin-turbo V8. Starting with number 3 on the worst list, the N63 twin-turbo V8. This engine showed up in 2008 across the X5, X6 5 Series, 6 Series, 7 Series, and 8 Series. Over 400 horsepower, smooth V8 power, serious torque. On paper, everything you'd want from a BMW. But in the real world, the N63 has earned one of the worst reputations in BMW's history, and it all comes down to one design decision. Here's the key part. The N63 uses a hot V layout, meaning the turbochargers sit between the cylinder banks, right on top of the engine. That puts extreme heat directly onto components that can't handle it, and the heat sets off a chain reaction that destroys the engine piece by piece. It starts with the valve stem seals. They harden and crack from constant heat exposure, letting oil seep into the combustion chamber. Blue smoke at startup, fouled plugs, catalytic converter damage. Replacing valve stem seals on an N63 runs $3,000 to $5,000. But it gets worse. The fuel injectors sit in that same hot zone and fail at a much higher rate than on other BMW engines. When they leak fuel into the cylinders, it washes down the cylinder walls and accelerates ring wear. Many owners report burning a quart of oil every 1,000 to 1,500 miles. That's an engine destroying itself from the inside. And this is where it really adds up. The timing chain is located at the back of the engine. If it stretches, the repair requires pulling the engine or dropping the transmission. That's $5,000 to $8,000 at most shops. Add in coolant leaks, turbo oil line failures, and fuel pump problems. And some owners spend more on repairs in 3 years than they paid for the car. If you already own an N63, staying on top of oil changes, watching coolant levels, and addressing leaks early can help. BMW released updated N63 TU versions that improve several weak points. But even the revised versions run hot and demand strict maintenance. This engine has been the subject of class action lawsuits and a BMW customer care program. Buying one without knowing the full history is how owners end up with a $15,000 repair bill on a car they bought for $25,000. Worst engine number 2, N47 diesel. 4-cylinder, number 2 on the worst list is the N47 2.0-liter turbo diesel 4-cylinder. BMW put this engine in the 1 Series, 3 Series, 5 Series, and X1 from 2007 through 2014. But the N47 has a fundamental design flaw that has ended thousands of engines way before their time. Here's where the problem starts. The timing chain is located at the back of the engine, between the engine and the transmission. Getting to it means either pulling the engine or separating it from the gearbox. That alone turns a manageable repair into a major expense. But the real issue is that the chain stretches prematurely. Owners have reported failure as early as 40,000 to 60,000 miles. Far too early for a component that should last past 150,000. When the chain stretches past its limit, it jumps teeth, and the pistons collide with the valves. Bent valves, cracked pistons, and in most cases, a complete engine replacement. And this is what makes it so frustrating. The warning signs are subtle: a slight rattle on cold startup, a faint whirring from the back of the engine. Most owners dismiss those sounds until it's too late. By then, the repair bill hits $5,000 to $7,000, and that's if the engine is even worth saving. I've seen plenty where replacement made more sense than repair. Now this is when it gets bad. The swirl flaps in the intake manifold can break apart and get ingested directly into the engine, scoring cylinder walls and damaging pistons. It's the kind of failure that totals the engine from the inside out. The diesel particulate filter adds more frustration, clogging during short trips and triggering limp mode. If you already own one, listen for rear engine rattle on cold starts, stay on top of oil changes, and get the car on the highway regularly to keep the DPF clear. Catching the timing chain early is the only thing separating a $2,000 repair from a $7,000 engine replacement. And the worst engine on this list is even more widespread. Worst engine number 1, N20/N26 turbocharged 4-cylinder. Here it is, the worst BMW engine you can buy. The N20 turbocharged 2.0-liter 4-cylinder. This engine powered the 3 Series, 4 Series, 5 Series, X1, X3, and Z4 from 2011 to 2017. That's not a niche engine. That's BMW's mainstream 4-cylinder across their entire lineup during one of their highest-selling periods. Millions are on the road right now, and a huge number are sitting at exactly the mileage where the biggest failure hits. Here's why the N20 earned the number 1 spot. Like the N47, this engine has a serious timing chain problem. But what makes the N20 worse is the scale. The N47 was mostly a European diesel. The N20 is everywhere. The failure rate is high enough that BMW extended the warranty on certain model years and has faced multiple class action lawsuits. This isn't a few unlucky owners. This is a pattern. The timing chain guides are made of plastic, and they wear through far too early. Owners have reported failure as early as 40,000 to 80,000 miles. When the guide breaks, the chain jumps teeth. In the best case, the engine shuts down. In the worst case, the pistons slam into the valves and the engine is destroyed from the inside. But the timing chain isn't the only thing eating at this engine. The oil filter housing gasket is almost guaranteed to fail, and when it does, oil drips directly onto the hot exhaust manifold. That's a burning smell inside the cabin and a genuine fire hazard. I've seen N20s come into the shop with oil caked onto the exhaust, and that's not something you leave alone. The valve cover gasket, Vanos solenoids, high-pressure fuel pump, and turbo wastegate rattle round out the common failures. The wastegate rattle is so common it's practically a signature of N20 ownership, and fixing it usually means replacing the entire turbo. If you own an N20, don't ignore any rattling on cold starts. Watch for burning oil smell. And if you're shopping for one, ask one question first. Has the timing chain been done? If not, factor it into the price. Because on this engine, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Now that you know which BMW engines to avoid, let's talk about the ones that actually deliver. If this breakdown has been useful so far, hit subscribe and leave a like. It helps more than you'd think. All right, these are the engines where BMW got it right. Best engine number 4, M57 turbo diesel inline. 6. If there's one BMW diesel I'll always stand behind, it's the M57 3.0-liter turbo diesel inline 6. Produced from 1998 to 2013, this engine found its way into the 3 Series, 5 Series, 7 Series, X3, X5, and X6. After everything you just heard about the N47, the M57 is proof that BMW knew how to build a diesel when they kept things simple. The timing chain sits at the front where it belongs. The iron block is incredibly strong with conservative tolerances that handle high mileage. The overall design avoids the complexity that kills modern engines. These aren't just survivors. M57-powered BMWs routinely run past 300,000 miles on basic maintenance. I've seen X5s and 5 Series with over 250,000 miles still running smoothly. Never opened, never rebuilt. The M57 isn't perfect. The swirl flaps can fail and get ingested into the engine, and many owners delete them preventively. The turbo actuator wears over time, and injectors may need replacement at very high mileage. But these are manageable items, not catastrophic failures. If you find a BMW with an M57 and solid maintenance records, that's an engine you can trust. But if you want that reliability without diesel, the next engine delivers exactly that. Best engine number 3, N52, naturally aspirated inline 6. This next engine is special for a reason beyond reliability. The N52 3.0-liter naturally aspirated inline-six is the last of its kind. BMW stopped making naturally aspirated sixes after this one, and a lot of enthusiasts and mechanics think they ended on the best note possible. Produced from 2004 to 2015 across the 1 Series, 3 Series, 5 Series, X1, X3, X5, and Z4, the N52 earned its place by doing something most modern BMW engines struggle with. It just works. No turbocharger, no direct injection, no wastegate actuator to fail. After everything you've heard about turbos, cooking injectors, and destroying timing chain guides, the N52 is a reminder of what happens when BMW keeps it simple. It produces between 215 and 260 horsepower. It's smooth and genuinely enjoyable to drive. And these engines regularly run past 200,000 miles, with many reaching 300,000 without major internal work. The known maintenance items are mild. The valve cover gasket leaks over time. The Vano solenoids can clog if oil changes are neglected. And the electric water pump tends to fail between 60,000 and 100,000 miles, running about $500 to $800 to replace. That sounds like a lot until you compare it to a $5,000 timing chain on an N20. On the N52, the water pump is your biggest predictable expense, and it's still a fraction of one failure on the worst engines. If you're looking for a used BMW that prioritizes reliability over raw horsepower, an N52 is one of the smartest choices you can make. But if you want turbo power with modern reliability, the next engine proves BMW finally figured out how to do both. Best engine number 2, B58 turbocharged inline-six. This is the engine that proves BMW learned from its mistakes. The B58 3.0-liter turbocharged inline-six was introduced in 2015, powering the 3 Series, 5 Series, X3, X5, Z4, and the Toyota Supra. After years of turbo engines with self-destructing timing chains and V8s that burn oil like fuel, BMW went back to the drawing board. And with the B58, they finally got it right. The timing chain is stronger and better positioned. The closed deck block provides far more structural rigidity than the open deck blocks in the N20 and N55. The kind of stress that destroyed N20 timing chain guides at 50,000 miles doesn't faze the B58. Later variants add port injection alongside direct injection, keeping intake valves clean and eliminating the carbon buildup that plagued every earlier direct injection BMW engine. That's not a small upgrade. That's BMW fixing one of their most expensive recurring problems. I've seen enough B58s come through the shop to feel confident about this engine. They come in for oil changes, maybe a sensor, and they leave. Compare that to the N20s and N63s that arrive on a flatbed, and you understand what BMW got right. The charge pipe can crack on early models, and the expansion tank can develop leaks. But those are maintenance items, not engine killers. The B58 earns more trust the more miles you put on it, and that's rare for any modern turbo motor. The B58 is hard to beat, but the engine at number 1 has been proving itself even longer. Best engine number 1, M52/M54. Naturally aspirated inline-six. And here it is, the most reliable BMW engine you can buy. The M52 and M54 naturally aspirated inline-six. Produced from 1994 to 2006, these engines powered the E36 and E46 3 Series, the E39 5 Series, the E53 X5, and the Z3 and Z4. These aren't just cars on a spec sheet, these are the BMWs people are still driving, still restoring, and still refusing to let go of 20+ years later. And the reason most of them are still on the road comes down to what's under the hood. Every other engine on this list, even the great ones, has some kind of compromise. The M57 has swirl flaps. The N52 has the water pump. The B58 is still proving itself long-term. The M52 and M54 have been proving themselves for 3 decades. These engines routinely run 300,000 miles or more on basic maintenance. I've seen M54-powered E46s and E39s with over 250,000 miles. Never opened, never rebuilt, still smooth, still responsive. The bottom end is incredibly strong. The timing chain sits at the front and rarely needs replacement. The Vinos systems hold up for hundreds of thousands of miles. And because these are naturally aspirated with port injection, everything that destroyed the worst engines on this list simply doesn't exist here. The cooling system is the one area that demands attention. Refresh the water pump, thermostat, expansion tank, and hoses every 60,000 to 80,000 miles. Neglected and overheating can warp the head. But here's the difference. On an N20, the timing chain can destroy your engine no matter what you do. On the M52 and M54, the only serious threat is something you have complete control over. Keep the cooling system fresh and the engine doesn't quit. Parts are cheap and everywhere. Any independent shop knows these engines inside and out. 3 decades of proof, hundreds of thousands of miles, and still running strong. That's not marketing. That's the gold standard. So there it is. The 3 worst and 4 best BMW engines to own. On the avoid list, the N63 V8 that cooks itself from the inside out, the N47 diesel with a timing chain that never should have been at the back of the engine, and the N20 Turbo 4 that has ended more engines than any other motor in BMW's modern lineup. On the best list, the M57 Turbo diesel that keeps racking up miles, the N52 that proved BMW didn't need a turbo to build a great engine, the B58 that shows what happens when BMW learns from its mistakes, and at number 1, the M52 and M54, 3 decades of proof that simple engineering done right outlasts everything else. But here's the one thing I want you to take away from this. Every engine on the best list can end up on someone's worst list if it's neglected. And every engine on the worst list has survivors out there with 200,000 plus miles because someone paid attention and stayed on top of the basics. The engine matters, but what you do with it matters more. That's been true for every BMW I've worked on in 20 plus years, and it's not changing anytime soon. If this helped you make a smarter decision on your next BMW, hit that like button and subscribe. Next week, we're talking about the maintenance mistakes that kill BMW engines faster than anything else. You won't want to miss that one.